So I did a review of a certain smartphone about a week ago, and a number of you guys requested, by a number I mean one, well, actually requested that I do a review of the Tecno Camon Air. I have it right in front of me right now. Let's jump into the box. So it's a pretty good looking box. I mean, it's black. Who doesn't like black? I even have a cool looking table now so that I can present a black device. Now in the box you have the phone and you have this nice looking black box. Let's check out what's inside here. So opening it up, you'll see there is a SIM ejector tool right over there. There's a bunch of paperwork inside. You have the user manual, and throw that aside. You have a declaration form of conformity, whatever that is. You have a Boom Music card. I think it's to sign up for the Boom Music player. Put that aside. You have a warranty card, 13 months warranty, and you have the case. So it's a smart case of sorts. You can tell that by this glass cutout over there, which is going to allow you to do many things when the phone is switched off without unlocking it. And further diving into the box, you have what looks like a power brick. It is a standard power brick. There you go. And a USB cable and a pair of earphones. Let's dive into the phone. Now this is the Tecno Camon series. It is the camera sort of series of the Tecno devices. We're expecting some good cameras over there, both front and rear. And as you can see in the front, they have a silver ring around the front camera. It's a 13 megapixel lens. Above it is the speaker grill right over there. So in the front you have a 5.5 inch HD LCD panel. Above it you have the camera, a 13 megapixel camera with a nice silver ring. You have the loudspeaker grill, you have some sensors, and you have a dual LED flash. There is nothing at the bottom of the display. At the left you have a SIM tray. Now it's just a dual SIM tray, so you don't have that hybrid slim / micro SD card slot thing going on there. It's just for dual SIM. If you move over to the right side of the phone, that's where you'll see a couple of buttons, the volume and the power button, and above it the micro SIM tray. At the bottom you have the USB ports. Actually it's a USB port, the loudspeaker and the microphone. At the top you have the 3.5mm headphone jack. And that's about it. And then we jump over to the back of the phone. Now at the back is where things get a little bit interesting. So the back looks fine. It's actually a plastic finish, very prone to scratching but very immune to fingerprints. Right at the top you have another 13 megapixel camera, below it a dual LED flash and a fingerprint. I have to say I do like the design of the phone in terms of aesthetics. It's a really clean looking phone. Apart from that silver ring around the camera on the front, remove that and it will be a really good designed phone for me. Now jumping into the user interface, it's pretty brisk. Now as you can see, if you swipe to the left here, you have this new thing. I haven't seen this on the previous Tecno devices that I've reviewed, so it's sort of like a bulletin of sorts that allows you to see a select number of news and the like. It is a colorful skin. It's using Tecno's High OS skin, a very colorful, very flat design. It keeps everything smooth. I did experience a bit of lag when opening heavy apps like Facebook and surprisingly even Tecno's music player, the Boom player. It's weird to see those things lacking on a phone, especially if it's a stock application. However, unlocking it with a fingerprint is pretty swift. Just a tap and you're in. You don't even, yeah, it's bam, you're in. Let me see if I can get an angle so that you can properly see how swift it is. Bam. That's it, you're in. It's a reasonable fingerprint. I personally don't believe in securing phones with fingerprints, but for those who are into that sort of thing, you're gonna enjoy this phone. While we are on the software side of things, I would love to mention how good the music player is when you have wired earphones on. Now the music player is the typical Tecno music player. You can surf for some popular African artists. They are listed as suggestions in the discover part, and then the library just deals with what's in your phone. The tracks that are in your phone are what you'll find there. Now, for the most part, it does stammer in this app. So playing music via headphones or a pair of earphones, the sound quality is really balanced. You get nice bass, nice textures all around. It's a balanced sound. The loudspeaker is loud. It's probably one of the loudest phones we've ever had, but it suffers when it comes to a balance in sound. The sound is a bit flat, so if you're a music lover out there and you like blasting your music through the speaker, you might not really enjoy this thing. Now, on the battery side, it features a 3200 milliampere battery, which is pretty decent. We threw it through our multimedia torture test, and it managed to suffer a 49% power drain after an hour each of video recording, video streaming, and gaming. Also on the spec sheet is 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal storage. There is a micro SD card slot which allows for an expansion of storage up to 128 GB. Now, the fantastic thing about this phone is how cool it stays when you're running heavy apps on it. It does not heat at all, and probably it's because of the chipset that they decided to incorporate, which is like really power efficient, so you won't see it chewing up a lot of juice. You can last about a day of usage on this phone with no problems. Now, as I mentioned before, the phone comes with a smart case. Now, this smart case just allows you to do a number of things if you so happen to not want to unlock your phone. So there it is. So right now I have the fingerprint set up, but I can just use the power button. If I press the power button there, you will see this little arc, this little C, Camon C, get what they did there? So it allows you to do a couple of stuff. So what you can do is you can check your date and your time. You can swipe from the top here so that you can launch the music player. There we go. So you have some simple music toggles like play, pause, previous and next track, and then you can swipe from the bottom to go back to your default clock and date screen. You can also swipe from the bottom going up, and this will turn on the flashlight, and you can just press that button right without unlocking the screen, and you will be able to toggle the flashlight on and off. Which takes us to the cameras. Now, for the front and the back cameras, you have both 13 megapixel sensors. You also have dual LED flashes for the front and the back. Now, for the most part, the pictures from the rear camera are pretty fantastic if the environment has really good lighting. In low lit environments, the images are pretty difficult to look at. They're almost a pain. In good lighting, you have fantastic detail. The focus is amazing. It does fall a bit short when it comes to the colors. The colors seem a bit washed out, but overall image quality from the rear camera in good lighting is usable. For the selfie camera, it is a decent selfie camera thanks to it being a 13 megapixel. It also does a bit of compensation when it comes to low lit environments. Some say it looks good, some say it looks bad, but probably it can be solved with the face beautifier. Now, the face beautifier does work. It works pretty well, but only if you find the correct setting. If you dial it up too much, you're gonna end up having some selfies that look like oil paintings. There is no manual mode on this phone, which kind of sucks. This is a Camon. Camons are camera phones. We would expect some beefy manual mode in this camera, but I do understand them. Since it's a Camon Air, there are some features that are going to be removed from the main camera that you would find in the normal CX. Now, the modes here, you have your video mode, you have your photo mode, your beauty, your panorama. Switching over to the rear camera, you have your video, your photo, your beauty, and your panorama, which is all fair and fine. You click on the squares at the top there and you get two extra modes. One to add some watermarks to your images, and the other one, which is a night scene mode, which kind of adjusts the camera settings to suit a low lit environment. Didn't really see how it helps to improve the picture. So in terms of camera experience, you will get a very decent camera experience when you are in a well-lit area. As soon as you get into a dimly lit area, yep, it won't work so well. So overall, it's a very decent device. It's pretty capable. It's got a decent build. I love the clean look, even though the back is plastic. It's tolerable. It doesn't attract any fingerprints. I would prefer that silver ring to go on the selfie camera. Otherwise, in terms of the design, it is a very clean design, which I will personally prefer. The performance is really reasonable thanks to 2 GB of RAM and a slightly more recent MediaTek processor. It's a really decent phone up until price just kicks in. For $350, it's going to be considered a bit too steep when it comes to the specs that it comes with. I mean, the box contents are pretty healthy. It's got a smart case, it's got a fingerprint, it's got a lot of nifty stuff that comes with it, but $350? It might beg the question that, is it a decent device that has just been overpriced? I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments. If you like this video, click subscribe, hit like, subscribe to our social media platforms. We have things going on everywhere, every time. I hope to check you later. I'm Edwin. See ya.